Embattled Republican Representative George Santos has now teamed up with Marjorie Taylor Greene to co-sponsor legislation seeking a federal book ban, similar to the one down here in the state of Florida under the Stop Woke Act. In fact, the bill's original sponsor is Republican Representative Corey Mills from the state of Florida, who wants to take Ron DeSantis' blueprint to ban books down here in Florida and just put it on the national level. Because according to Mills, these damn liberal teachers out there are trying to sexualize children by feeding them pornography in the classroom. Now, this weird piece of legislation that addresses a problem that does not exist, the full text of it has not been released on the congressional website. It also is not available on Mr. Mills or any of the other co-sponsors' websites. So we don't know everything that is in this piece of legislation that Santos and Greene have now co-sponsored. But we do know this from the summary of it. To amend Title 18 United States Code to prohibit a publishing house from knowingly furnishing sexually explicit material to a school or an educational agency, to prohibit federal funds from being provided to a school that obtains or an educational agency that distributes sexually explicit material, and for other purposes. So, sexually explicit material. Are you thinking that schools are handing out Hustler to our kindergartners? Is that what y'all think? Because that's not a thing that's happening anywhere. No, what's more likely, much like the Florida law, is that y'all want to ban any books that mention LGBTQ characters. You want to ban books by LGBTQ authors, and you want to do it at the federal level, not just the state level. Because you claim that anything involving LGBTQ people is sexualized. That sounds like a you problem. If you can't think of the LGBTQ community without sexualizing them in your mind, well, that speaks more to you than it does to any of them or to the teachers or to these educational agencies. You're the one that it seems like you have some issues to deal with, maybe some realizations you need to come to. But here's what this is. This, as I said, is an expansion of Ron DeSantis' attack on public schools, attacks on the LGBTQ community, and now Republicans have taken it to the national level. Here's what Corey Mills had to say about this. The battlefield for the future of our society is being fought within the classrooms of American schools. This bill targets the left's efforts to sexualize children in schools across the U.S. From school board meetings to new representation in local, state, and federal levels, Americans are waking up to the grim reality of woke indoctrination guised as a normal education. No more. You're a nut. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. These are not statements. Well, I'm not even going to continue that because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, you kind of seem like you may have some issues to deal with, Mr. Mills. As for George Santos has also taken aim at the LGBTQ community, which he is a member of, for allegedly weakening the family system here in the United States. Here's what Santos had to say recently on the John Stubbins Conservative Indivisible show. The family unit has been under attack for decades. Decades! In different ways, right? The flavor of the decade is same-sex couples. Oh, that's so okay. Look, to each their own. I don't have anything against that. But they're teaching in school how kids that, you don't need a mommy and a daddy. You can have two mommies. You can have two daddies. I think that's a little much for kids, right? And when we have instability in the family unit, you wreak havoc, he says. One parent can't parent two kids as well as two parents. And there's always that feminine touch to boys from the mother and that masculine touch to boys from the father. Same thing goes for the daughters, and it creates equilibrium and balance. George, you are literally advocating taking your own rights away. For what? What do you have to gain from this? More importantly, what is the John Stubbins Indivisible show? Why are you bringing on somebody like George Santos to talk about this stuff anyway? A man who's lied his way through his entire adult life, who's under investigation from 8 different agencies in the United States and internationally? And you're going to let him sit there and lecture people on how to raise their kids? Here's a good example. Don't raise your kids to be like George Santos. Don't raise your kids to be like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Corey Mills. Raise your kids to accept the fact that people are different, and that's not just okay, that's good. It's none of their business, is what you ought to teach them. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves privacy. Everybody deserves a right to live their life without being oppressed by this Republican government. But Republicans don't see it that way, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure this legislation at the federal level, they know it can't pass now, but they're setting up the stage for when they can pass it in the future.
This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.